So what did you see in Deshaun in this past game in the horrendous conditions?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway was the fact that he still had the ability to throw it accurately when it mattered the most. In the bad conditions, made some really key throws on that last drive. Unfortunately, we had a chance to get it in the end zone to tie it up, but didn't. But that's encouraging. Probably the worst weather I've been around. Been colder games, but not with the wind blowing as hard as it was. So they're really tough conditions. Going both ways, really. We took some shots down the field that I would like to have seen those balls had it not been really windy. I think we had some opportunities for some big plays had not, some of those down the field throws going away from the dog pound kind of carried a little bit.
For two, if Dave or DPJ had caught.
I think that's where we were heading. I know we had talked about it prior to that drive. Be ready for a 2-point play here to end it.
It's supposed to be pretty nice conditions in Landover on Sunday. This is going to be Deshaun's 5th game back. Is it time for this offense to maybe get to another level, like one touchdown a game? Obviously you're going to have a hard time beating most teams.
Yeah.
You want to see this offense take another step finally.
I do think so. I think we're ready for that. We just need to see continued improvement. I think if we can put the ball in the end zone, we'd all be a lot happier. It's a really good defense we're playing, especially up front. So our challenges are there. But yeah, we should definitely see more productivity out of us, especially as we get down in the red zone. We haven't scored when we've gotten down there like we should.
Like when it comes to throwing it or running it, if he's outside the pocket, right? The plays where he's kind of, extending the play and it looks like there's a chance to run, but it feels like he's throwing it maybe more than he's running. Like, how do you guys deal with that?
Yeah, you always want to extend the play as long as you can to make the defender choose one or the other. Probably talking about the play to Donovan where he had a chance to run it. He's the first thing he said, I should have played that longer, and pressed it more. Those are things we talk about. That wasn't a designed QB run. It was a keeper, where Donovan is the first read. But in those situations, again, it's just playing experience and doing it more and more and more and having a feel for, hey, we got to keep pressing, make that defender choose one or the other, and then do the opposite.
Even with the designed QB runs, like, is there a sweet spot where we don't, as a team, you don't want to run him more than whatever X number of plays, because it feels like he's got that ability where that's a big time threat.
Yeah, I think that you could see a lot more QB run design, but again, you're taking it out of Nick Chubb's hands, Kareem Hunt's hands. I don't think that's a necessity. Other teams may rely more on the QB run when they don't have strong runners, as we do. So I think it's finding that mix of what gives us the best of both worlds. You don't want to take touches away from Nick and Kareem, but at the same time, you don't want to have the defense, not playing the whole field. So they have to be responsible for the quarterback as well. And it's our job of finding that happy medium and somewhere in between.
Would you say that with so many receivers having a hard time hanging on to the football, was that in part because Deshaun had to put more on it to get it through those wins, or was in those conditions is the ball just like a?
It's like a slippery rock. Really is the best way to describe it. I think if those were normal conditions, I think those would have been catches. I don't think he puts any more on it than he would on a dry day. To be honest with you, I think it's just really, really hard conditions to handle the ball.
How do the conditions adjust or change the way you evaluate? Do you have to sort of almost grade on a curve when you're playing in those type of conditions?
Yeah, it is. It's just talking to Drew about how to grade some of the throws. We take them as minus throws, but we also take in consideration that there was a huge wind behind it. So, it does grade it with a curve for sure.
As you've evaluated, you didn't have terrible weather the Baltimore game, but it wasn't ideal conditions either. Has it made it more difficult to kind of assess where Deshaun is in his progression through the last 4 games because of the conditions the last
there's a lot that plays into that, really. You think about him starting in against in Detroit and then having Houston, and having that first time out again after so long. So that plays a role, and then getting some weather games does play a role. hopefully these next 2 games we'll have some decent conditions and we could really, see where we're at right now. But yeah, there were some factors that played into our evaluation process.
Alex, we've mostly seen Jerome Ford on special teams. You've seen him every day in practice. Where is he coming along?
Really strong runner, does a lot of really good things, can catch the ball really well in the backfield. Just learning his way through the NFL game as a running back. Obviously, you kick it to him. He's got one job, and that's to gain positive yards. There's a lot more to it that comes to protections and things that go in the running back room. But progressing well, impressive when he does have the ball in his hands, what he can do with the run, and then going back to the training camp of what he brings in the pass game as well with good hands, good route running ability.
Alex, 2 weeks left, I guess. What are some of the most important steps for Deshaun to take during this time?
I just continue to own the system and understand operation in and out of the huddle, play calling, the footwork improvements each week. Those are the biggest steps, just to continue to improve in those areas. The accuracy's there. You're starting to see that come back. His ability to make plays on the move is back. So really, it's just a matter of just really fine-tuning footwork, operation, all the things that come with quarterback play.
You mentioned that Commanders D-line a little bit. What makes it so good?
They're 4 first-rounders up front. I think the skill, the talent, they're all good players. They're big bodies. They're powerful, physical, with twitch. So it's a good combination. They've obviously built that team through that defensive line on that side of the ball, and they're playing at an extremely high level.
What did you see out of Young in his first game back?
Finding his way, but haven't played against him before. Obviously, he's a dangerous player, and will probably get more playing time and improve his play style as he goes. But really good challenge for us up front. Those guys are, as good as the 2 inside players are as good as there are in the league. Defensive tackle and the edge players are exceptional as well. So, big challenge up front for our line.
We have a guy like Nick Chubb that doesn't want to shut it down and really wants to finish strong. Is that all part, well, that's just Nick, but is that all part of you guys kind of building for the future, is having the whole offense intact these last 2 games to try to be ready to go for next year too?
Absolutely. These 2 last games are critical for us. We need to see where we are. We want to see everybody. We want to win these last 2 games. We'll go 1-0 hopefully this week, then we'll reevaluate for next week. But we want to win these games. It means a lot to this locker room. It means a lot to the leadership of this team. Nobody's looking to shut anything down. It didn't go the way we wanted to, but at the bottom line, we still have 2 opportunities to go out and compete and to win.
With Jack signing his extension, you've got him locked up. You've got Wyatt, Joel, Jed, of course, still on that rookie deal. How important is it to have that stability on the line?
It's huge. It is. It's just to have the same guys working together and the same coaches and the calls. They just get better each year. So to have Jack locked in, a guy who just really deserves every bit of that. The work he put in after the injury last year to come back and to be really good at right tackle for us it's a tribute to him, and really happy that we got him locked up for a while.
In the middle with Ethan, he wasn't slated to start, but he's been really good for you guys. What have you
What a
seen
great job he's done, really stepping in when Nick got hurt right away and never really missed a beat with him. Is a great job of the guys upstairs getting him into the building.
For him to be re-signed?
I would think we would. I wouldn't make those decisions, but I don't think there's anything in his play this year that we would say we wouldn't want to see him again next year.
Room developmental-wise leading up to this point, and what more do you want to see in these last 2 games?
Just continued improvement, really across the board for everybody. Maybe give them a little more opportunity to make some plays on the ball. Oftentimes you get the young guys in there, you kind of put them in the spot where the ball will find them last. So maybe formationing some of the plays to get them involved earlier on in the progressions. But, Woodsy's done a really nice job for us. Dalen, when he came in, played really well for us, has made a couple catches. But, as rookies, you just keep growing and getting better each week. And, hopefully we'll see that this week.
Donovan really just seems to have come into his own this year, reached another level. I guess just looking back on his development over these last 3 years, how much has he improved since when he first got here?
Night and day, really. To when he first got here, just the ability in the run game. I just remember, Coach O'Shea getting on his butt about physicality in the block and just the growth that he's shown over the last 3 years is tremendous. You know, he's a real pleasure to have. Great find for us late in the draft, and you know he works his butt off at it. He's a great teammate, and he's gotten a ton better since he's gotten here. So, developing young players through the draft, I think Coach O'Shea deserves a lot of credit there, and what he's been able to get out of Donovan, because Donovan's really playing at a high level for us.
It's a long shot for Nick Chubb to get the rushing title, but is that in your guys' thinking at all? And would you make an effort to try to help him do that in the event that, you know, like Derek's not playing this week, and who knows what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs? But I mean, if it seems like it's within sight, will you work to do that?
I think there are individual goals of players in situations like this that need to be addressed and obtained if possible. I've always felt that way. If there's something out there that we can get for our players in a season that didn't go the way we wanted it to, and then in the playoffs, then I'm all for that.
Pretty remarkable that he got 99 and 92 in each of the last 2 weeks, considering the opponents and the conditions, right?
Exactly. Yeah, those were some two tough run defenses that he had success against. So he's another guy that deserves everything he gets. So if we can get him that'd be exceptional. Go ahead.
This is Washington's one in the league in time of possession, and you guys are number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you guys think about, like before going into games? Do we really want to, possess the ball for as long as possible?
Yeah, it kind of happens organically when you talk about staying positive on first and second down, giving yourself manageable third downs, and then converting on third down. That kind of falls into extended drives and time of possession. You know, we don't say, hey, we need to win time of possession this week. We say we need to, be manageable on third down and convert on third down, and that'll give you the time of possession. So I guess we go a roundabout way of getting to that, but yes, we do emphasize those other areas that get you to a winning time of possession.
Knowing that they tend to possess it, does that make each one of your possessions this week more valuable, I guess?
Absolutely. Every drive for us is a valuable drive. We want to enter the end zone, and again, that's being good on first and second, converting on third, and then punching it in once we get down inside the red zone.